My name is Mcharo. I'm a man. I identify as a man. I am husband to one wife. Together we have 2 sons, grown-up sons, 24 years and 22 years. I am financially independent. So you hear that word fire, 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 everywhere is just fire. And fire is financial independence, retire early. And I'm glad your motto is financial freedom starts here. Oh, it begins here. Yes. Here today, where you are, here in your heart and how you feel, here in your mind, where you feel. I'm sure you know more about that than I do. I think it's a perfect and powerful tagline. If you actually take time and think about it and implement it, it makes all the difference. There is no there. There is no right time to begin an epic journey. Anyone in history who has done something big just started where they are. I don't know if you're together. If you look at the great, I'm an avid reader of the Bible, and I really like taking lessons from the stories. And I think all of us have the right and the responsibility to do something impactful in this life. Ukizaliwa, ukuje, uishi, ukule, unywe, ufe, it's a bit of a waste of space. It's a bit of a waste of space. But I think each one of us is able to come here and do something. Whatever you are. If you say it begins here, my greatness begins here. My financial freedom begins here. And you tell me, I don't have resources. I don't have experience. I don't have knowledge. No, that whatever you have is enough. I met my wife in 1998, October 13th, at about 4:15 in the afternoon. You know, sorry. I was a student activist at the University of Nairobi. I'm a Gen Z. Most of you are Gen Zs, eh? It's stuck with you. It's been there. Just that age bracket. I think once you're that age bracket, you are. So we're there to move our chairman from the department. We want to get to this professor, and we were young men. Then I come back to my class. I come back to my seat, and I find these hot girls seated at my desk. See, I need letter. That was 27 years ago. I must have done something right. Mshana kama wewe ni mzuri, ana akili nyingi, na iko kwa nyumba tu for 27 years. I must have done something right. But when we met, tumekutana, mnaanza to get each other. So how are you? Where do you come from? Anatoka kwa kina chairman. So this guy is my shemeji of sorts. Namuita mfuasi. So as we get to know each other, where do you come from? We realized we had similar stories. Baba yangu had done some work. Alikuwa anafanya tu kazi hapa tu across the road. It was called customs. Hapa tu on the other side of the road. He had risen a bit in civil service, and then he retired early. He had to get to financial independence, retire early. He retired, alifutwa. Ndio siku moja hizo unafutwa tu 1 o'clock news. Unaenda to home for lunch, kidogo ushafutwa. That happened to him. So he retired before he was financially independent. Maisha ya nini? Katank. So we moved from Upper Hill to Shago. Moving from driving a big car to not affording bus fare. Moving from having sausages and whatever for breakfast like what you're having today to not having sugar to put in the uji in the morning. So that was a real tank. So that was my story. So the time I'm meeting my wife, I'm paying my own school fees, and I'm helping out at home to pay the school fees of the younger one. How many firstborns are here? Mungu awabariki sana sana sana. Maana wa firstborns tunabebaga mizigo. How many lastborns are here? you were firstborns, hamtawaitwa. So that was my story when I was meeting this guy. Her story was that her father was a businessman, very successful businessman in Western Kenya. Fanya biashara mingi tu, and then he died suddenly at the young age of 42. Amewacha watoto 19. He was a jogo. Interesting thing is, to date, from 1990 to date, those 19 children are still close like this. Yeah. So he did something like that. When he passed on, the family was left without direction because the man was there. Alikuwa ndio nguzo, ndio everything that put things together. So they really struggled over the years. So we meet now when we had a glorious past, both of us, and we are down in the trenches. And we said, we will not repeat what has happened to us. Because school taught us, so many vijana, muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma mtapata kazi nzuri sana. Nyinyi msikie wimbo? The older ones know it. Wewe mzee kuangalia wewe ulisikia hiyo kwa radio every morning. No, those days the beauty of Kenya is that everybody had the same thing. We all had one radio station and one TV station. TV ilikuwa inafunguliwa saa 4, saa 10 jioni mpaka saa 4. But then it was just at 6. From 6 in the evening until 10 in the night, TV imeisha. And we all had the same thing. But nobody told us what to do after umepata kazi nzuri sana. Nyinyi mmesoma, mmetia bidii, mmemaliza kusoma, mmepata kazi nzuri sana. Then what next? So since we told ourselves, huko kule wazazi walienda, hatutaenda. We will work hard as they did. We'll hopefully get good jobs and businesses as they did. We'll hopefully make money as they did. But if you are caught unawares, either by death or retirement, those things are guaranteed. Kufa is, don't be suspicious. So the and you don't know when. Or retirement. Death or retirement, we want to make sure that our children don't go through what we went through. So even before we are getting serious about our romance, we had begun to talk about our finance. Can I repeat? It sounds like a quotable quote. Before we got serious about our romance, we were getting serious about our finance. Kuna wimbo in the 80s, you kama nyinyi mnajua, ilikuwa inasema no romance without finance. But again, finance becomes so much sweeter when the romance has been sorted. Ukiwa na hizo vitu mbili, uko na romance na uko na finance, maisha yanakuwa maisha landa. Yeah. So we were very fortunate in that case. That we're talking about money as we're talking about love. Sina kazi, hana kazi. Me, I'm an architectural student and I'm a hustler. I was a hawker. I pick things, I sell them, I paint, I make models, I do paintings, nakuja na kuchora, nakuzia, nafanya bookmark, nauza 20 bob, nafanya painting, nauza 3,000, anything that brought me some money in the pocket, I did. Because sina mtu wa kunilipia fees. Sina mtu wa kulipia my sister's fees. Once in a while, baadaye amekaukiwa, she needs me to send for her 2,000 shillings. Na sikizo 2,000 shillings kutuma, hakuna mpesa. Unatafuta pesa, unachukua karatasi, unafunga, unaenda kamba bus, unaweka kwenye, I don't know. Wazee mnajua maneno. Siku hizi you just tap on the phone. Kitambo kutuma pesa was kibarua. So that's how we grew up. And then kidogo we get a baby. Si tulienda kupata degree, but our first degree was your first born tunamitaka higher national diploma. So kidogo mtoto ndio amekuja, maisha ndio imeanza, tumefanya ndoa kidogo, second born has come. Then suddenly it is 2003, 5 years after we met. We are now living. So nikauliza wife, hey, when we met, I had no job, I had no salary, you had no salary. Somehow we ate, we drank, we paid our bills. It's now 5 years later, you have a salary, I have a salary, we are eating, we are drinking, but we have no savings, and we have no investments. So the first fire that we had was overtaken by events and it died. Unaona kwenye Biblia, the very first parable that is told is the parable of the sower. The sower went to sow his seed, and some seed fell on the road, ikaliwa na manyonyi, si ndio eh? Another one sowed, it fell among the rocks, another one stood among the thorns. So sister, I think those are our seeds. We had this amazing idea when we met, and we used financial independence as my, so to go to Mr. Yangu. Mr. Don't worry, I'm broke now, but baadaye maisha itakuwa sawa. But then we were overtaken by the events of life. I don't know how many of you have been in that situation. Anybody? That you didn't have a job at some point. Sindio eh? Ulikula au kufa, ulikula, ulikunywa, ulilala, ulivaa, ulienda. Then you go to your first job and you're like, thank you Jesus. Mshahara kidogo. You still ate, you drank, 5 years later, mshahara imepanda, but you're still at the same place. No investments, no savings. Maybe it is time to take stock and say we must start. So I told my wife, me, I'm going to Kitengela, I'll buy a plot, and I'll build apartments, because we must have rent. My grandfather always had rental income. He never earned much, but he was very, very meticulous in how he did his things. And he lived into his old age very comfortably, because he always got a little money at the end of the month. He did not need his children. Kaambia wife, mimi nitafanya hivyo. She laughed. She told me, mwanaume kama wewe, you should be first struggling to make sure you pay your rent on time. My landlord used to call me and told me, Mcharo, you are very inconsistent in your rent payment. I'm like, no. I'm very consistent. I'm just consistently late. So if I rent tano, mimi nitalipa rent 15th, 17th, 22nd, nitalipa tu. So show me first sort yourself out to pay rent before you start thinking about earning rent. Kina mama, when your man has a baby, don't kill it. No, ipulizie, don't blow it out. Nikaniambia, I will not give up my dream. Chuna sana for the University of Nairobi. I went and I told them, I got 2 old men in the department who believed in me, wakanifanya wakani nikaenda Chuna, nikaanza kusema. I told them I want to save 15,000 shillings. Wakaniambia, tukifanya payslip hiyo ndio mshahara. Nikamwambia chukua yote. Because think about it, 15,000 shillings, if you're going to save a percentage of 15,000 shillings, ni ngapi? Ati I'm going to save 10% of 15,000. 1,500. Kule unaenda utafika nini? No, so mimi nikamwambia save, take it all. Save it all. Then I made a move. I don't recommend, but I believed in it. So men, you know the person you are. Me, I took a move. I said, I'm going to depend on this woman. She'll buy the food, she'll pay the rent, she'll give me bus fare. Yeah? Me, I've saved all my money. Me, I depend on you. It looks like a very foolish move. It looks very stupid. How do you depend on a woman? But me nilipika mahesabu yangu. Nikajambia, I would rather depend on her today and then nitamsoma. If she can sort me out every morning, here is 100 for your bus fare, here is 200 for your bus fare and lunch, then I know I have something good. Akininyanyasa leo, najua huko mbele ni kubaya. That was one side of the story. The other side, because I'm an observer, I like to think of myself as a student of math. I study people, especially all over there. Nikajambia, if I'm 50 years, I'm 50 now. If I get to 50 years, that time 50 looked very far. That time I think it was 2004, I was about 30. if I'm 50 years and I'm broke, huyu madam ataniangaliaje? So I can stand today niambie mimi ndio ndanunua chakula, mimi ndio ndalipa rent, mimi ndio ndapatia wife, and then she uses her money to invest. When I'm 50 years, the investment will be hers. I don't know if you're getting my logic. The investment will be hers, na mimi ndaacha nimenyanyaswa. But if I use my money to invest, when I'm 50 years, the investment will be ours. What do you say, Sumaja? The investment will be ours. That means she can't tell me kuna kitu gani yako hapa. You understand? Eh? So me, I was protecting myself. First, I was gauging the person I was with, and then I was hedging my future. A bit selfish, but it was my way of doing things. It was my way of seeing life. What that did, it gave me dividends immediately. Because ile kiburi yangu of my 30 years old. How many of you are under 30? People, eh? Kuna all men 35 and below. Kuna kama nini kama chizi fulani, sio eh? So what it did, because you have to ask this woman for bus fare every day. So ile kanini ka kiburi kafanya nini? Kwa nini nimezaliwa na kiburi kingi sana? Kingi sana. Know yourself. Ile kiburi kifanya nini? Ikapungua. We started talking more. We started discussing more. We started getting closer. That was my first dividend of a journey to financial independence. It made me get closer to my wife. So, and then the other bit is we started working hard. Unaona hii 15,000 haitatufikisha mbali. So she's always interested in what I'm doing. I'm always interested in what she's doing. We are always interested in each other's income. If I need ipande. So me, I saved kidogo. Her income was enough to pay the bills, to buy my lunch, to pay whatever, to pay. Ngoja. 15,000 shillings tukafanya strike. Kufanya strike, we negotiated for house allowance, 27,000 shillings. So 2004. I went to Athi River. I met a lady called Mrs. Mulandi. I told her, you have land and I like it. Kijana, shamba iko, nauza 900,000 shillings. Na sitoi discount because I've sold that amount to other people, so I can give you for less. But I can give you time. Sasa nikikupatia 27,000 shillings kwa mwezi, si ni sawa? And then sawa. So me, I get my salary. Ile basic inaenda kwa sako 15,000, house allowance ya 27,000 inaenda kwa Mrs. Mulandi. After about 7 months, her son is a pastor hapa Nairobi Baptist Church, anaitwa Pastor Mulandi. Akaniuliza, Mcharo, you have an account for this transaction? Mwambie kwa nini? Ambia, I'm seeing all the check numbers are the same. Yani kama umepata check number 5, next month you check number 6, the other one check number 7. Ambia, brother, it's not an account for this. I'm giving you all my money. I do not write checks to anyone else but you. So me, I typed all my income. Kidogo madam mshahara imepanda, naye akaanza kuweka 20,000 shillings. Aliingia she work for Kenya Shell. Akaingia Shell Sacco. Again, thanks to the Sacco movement. Akaanza kusave. After many months, ile 27,000 shillings ikafika about half a million. Now my savings ikafika 400,000. The Sacco says, I don't know what percentage you guys get. Sisi at Chuna we have to get 2.5 times your savings. The day ilifika 400,000 shillings. So 15,000 shillings, 400,000 divided by 15k, you can tell how many months those were. The day ilifika 400,000 shillings, my loan. 1 million. Guys, 1 million is 1,000,000, stop 2 zeros. That was a very, very large number. Nikaenda, nika apply. Secretary akanishika mkono, akanipeleka kwa CEO. Anamwambia, mzee, this young man has come to apply not for an emergency loan, not for a school fees loan, for an investment loan. That thing took record time in being processed. They were so happy. They were like, hey, my professor anakujaga hapa kuchukua emergency loan, wewe unakuja kuchukua kitu ya investment. After a while I was given a check. Squeeze wakuna bank transfers. I was given my check. Nikaenda nayo benki, ikakuwa na mistake. Nikarudishwa. Fika, it was corrected. I mean, don't worry, sit there. It was corrected immediately. And I got a loan. And I started building. We started building. Sasa unajua madam nimefika 500,000 kuda 35. Nimefika 500,000 bado for her. For her akaniambia kijana jenga. I've seen your effort. Hizo zimebaki utalipa. Title deed tutakupatia but jenga. So when you push yourself, other people around you begin to see. I don't know if you're getting me. Kidogo my cousin and her husband come to me and say, hey, by the way, you have this idea, mimi niko na domo. So me I think by talking, I'm doing this. Sina siri. When we come to my thing, nikiongea napata my ideas. So the guys came and said, oh, by the way, you want to build a project? Yes. What's the budget? 5 million. What do you have? I have 1 million. And in about 4 months, my wife can get another 1 million. Like, what if we come and invest in you and match? Like, oh, okay. So, when you take this land, cut it into 2, I put in a value, 600,000, so that you got 1 million, divided by 2 is 500. You can get a markup, you can 600. And then my professional services, as an architect, 400, that's 1 million. Then my million, then my wife's million, that's 3 million. Come here and put in. So I put in my million shillings in cash. They gave me 3 million in cash. By then they were done, wife akatoa her million in cash. Boom, niko na hostel. Niko na 23 rooms. Tuko pamoja? Na tukaendelea. 15 years, it took us 15 years. 15 years, we had 99 rooms. Watu jamaa nazijua. Hizi ndio nakulia mpaka leo. Sije kula pesa ya sababu. 15 years to get financial independence. The first 7 years were, I'm telling the story in a hurry, but the first 7 years were very hard. When my friends are going for holidays, sisi, tunalipia financial independence. When our friends are buying cars, mimi nilikuwa na gari yangu KAK 414P. Yeah, that's been as you spend more time under it than inside it. Tuko na watoto, so we need a mode of transport. Move us from point A to point B. Toyota Corolla 90. Very nice cars. But 7 years, unashangaa, why am I broke? Tunakaa na wife tunajiuliza maswali, but see, we got talking. And I'll tell you guys, if you talk about money, for those of you with families, you talk about money and talk about money intensely, you sort out a lot of our problems. You sort out the communication problem, you sort out the sex problem, by the kina mama, so let them feel financially secure. Mimi nijua hata kama sina pesa kwenye mfuko, I'll make her feel financially secure. Happy? Hapa. It starts, financial freedom starts here. So once I've sorted out her money, she feels secure money-wise, my sex life became healthy. And for me, that is, I don't know about you guys, me that's an important part of my life. I try to sort that out very, very early. Because kila nikiendelea ndoa nini inakuwa mbaya na naonaga tu ni hapo tu kwenye pesa na kitandani. Sionagi mali nyingine. My in-laws nini, those can be sorted out. At dates every Thursday, maua, hizo wachana nazo. Me, I used it to do things. My mother came home one day, anasikia tunaongea tuna wife. Mimi napendana sana na mke wako. Hapana mama, si mapenzi. We have dreams that are here and our money is here. We believe if we talk more, we'll sort of make this gap. Akaniambia, if you sort out money in your marriage, you've sorted out 80% of your marriage. Kasema 80% ni kubwa. But I think she was right. So 15 years, tukafika hapo. Once we go to that place, I know my children's fees can be paid, my rent can be paid. I didn't own a home. I don't own a home to date. Now I can afford. I can own a home anywhere. My
children's fees can be paid, my rent can be paid, food can be bought, without me going to work. Because this is what we did. She had a salary, and we wanted to create a third salary from the investments. No? So if any one of us loses a job, we can survive. So this time, even if both of us lost our jobs, the investment can help us thrive. I quit my company and I took a risk and started Savo. And the whole idea about Savo was, how do we enable other people to enjoy the same benefit that we did? So our first investors were 45 and above. Kusema hapana, hiyo bad product. So nyumba zilikuwa ni 4 million, 5 million. Ndio tukashukisha chini. Tukazileta huku now 1.8, 2.1 million with a 5-year payment plan to be able to allow very many people to come into that journey. So in a nutshell, that's our story. And why am I giving that story? Wherever you are, however young or old you are, however much money or little money you earn, once you have made up your mind that I'm going on a journey, take the first step. Don't give yourself a 3-year plan. At least in 3 years, nitakuwa nimetoboa. In 5 years, it's too short. Give yourself 15 years. Because if you're 30, 15 years born is 45. If you're 35, 15 years is 50. If you're 45, 15 years is 60. You're still young. You still have a lot of time. So give yourself enough time so that when the hard times come, you develop shock absorbers, because your goal is much more long term. But start. Don't delay.